Okay, we are now in game 5. I think I misspoke in the last video. I think I said after the Sleepy Hollow game that it was 3 games to 2. It was not. It was in fact 2 games to 2. So this is game 5. All tied up, 2 games to 2. Mystery Men versus my team. Max Thrall, Max Gas, Max Everything melee for this item. Mystery Men, a couple of dwarfs. We've got 10 pus, 2 J-Men, and a bunch of goals. So it looks like we're going to see some bottle pussing. And if I'm guessing, a spread out and tag game plan here for my team. On the side of Paris, yeah, very similar trade. It looks like he's got more warriors, just at first glance. Yeah, so he's got more warriors, slightly fewer thrall, and then he's got 4 dwarves as opposed to 2, fewer goals as well. So, in the event this goes to endgame, basically these dwarves are really going to need to carry their weight. Warriors are faster, so if it does turn into a big tag fest, Pierce's team may have an advantage there. They've got just a little bit more on that front. On the side of LSO's team, it's going to be really hard to kill Pierce's team unless they get in a bad position, just because Thrall and Gaster are so slow. So I would think that our plan here, again, is likely to be to just try to hide this out until late game. Gonna fast forward a bit. We've got Karma and Blade, as well as Spoon on these Thrall and gas packs. We've got LSO, Tiri, and Donsky, as well as Zell, running around with Arsenic on the warrior packs. Team just basically spreads out. As suspected, you do see these Thrall and Gaster being sunk. So at this point, Pierce's team's not going to be able to really do anything to those units until the end game. The theory is, if you haven't lost all your warriors or the units, you're able to survive and outposition them. On the side of Paris, we've got same roster as last game. We've got Kroon on a warrior pack. We've got Verm. We've got Vaz, Kron, and Adren with Captain running a Ghast and Thrall pack. We've got Paris sending a whole bunch of Thrall here southeast. So that's an interesting contrast. He could just be sinking these in different positions to be closer to flags for endgame. Instead, he's bunching them on flags. So we'll see if that actually makes a difference. But again, I think these dwarves are going to be, very important on the side of Pierce's team if they're going to pull this off. Misspoke. Zell also, so they split this up. Spoon and Zell also both had the Thrall and gas pack. Nothing much to see here. We have crossed over into a mid pool, which puts us in pretty good position. Again, we can easily contest quite a few of these flags. Just looking around to see if there's any action.
Flag lost.
Yeah, not much happening so far. Yeah, pretty boring game. Zell does have a couple goals in their backfield, so he's able to put pressure. Otherwise, at this point, both teams seem to be content to run out the clock. Actually, very good bottle toss from Zell here. So you talked about the dwarf advantage. So Zell with a single bottle plus actually just gets a 7% lead, takes out 1/4, 1 out of the 4 dwarves on the side of Paris' team. So that's big. They now, whatever advantage they had from having that extra, piece of artillery available to blow stuff up, is dead. In the later parts of this game, they are going to struggle, I think, at this point now to deal with the massive amounts in Thrall and gas. So this makes it a little bit harder for them, puts a little bit more pressure, in my opinion, on them to do something. After this, basically, again, nothing's happening. The goals are continuing to put pressure. We've got a dwarf threatening here mid with adrenaline. He could try to push this. He's down in melee, but you know, there's really not a point. I don't know that he's going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot. We do lose a couple of goals up here. Makes it a 7% lead, so still pretty close. Mysteryman does take out Elso and myself, plus this dwarf. So now they've lost another dwarf. I think that leaves only one dwarf. Yeah, Kruniak is basically the only dwarf, I believe, that's now alive on the side of Paris' team. So, 9% advantage, but practically speaking, I don't see a way that Paris' team can deal with all of the thrall. Okay, there's the other dwarf. Yeah, Captain has one more dwarf, so 2 of the 4 are still alive. Captain's under a little bit of pressure. At this point, he's gotten himself into a bad spot, along with Verm and Kron's one remaining warrior. He's been flanked, so you've got Tyria on one side, and you've got Thrall and Gas on both other sides, as well as Blade. So there's really nowhere for this force to run. So, you know, Kroon loses this dwarf as well. Captain's dwarf is soon to go down. Doesn't really get off much. He's got a dud puss on some goals. The gas freezes him up. And just like that, you know, 80 to 59% lead. 2 minutes left. Game's basically over. So I'd say a better trade from LSO. Too many dwarfs on the side of Paris, especially when you saw, you know, Monty, Adren, Captain, and Kruniak all lose their dwarves basically for free. They soaked up a couple of pus, but you know, the only thing my team needed for pus to win on this game was for the pus to kill the dwarves. You don't need to pus the warriors. You don't need to pus the thrall. You can obviously if we have some extra, but in general, double the percentage.
Contested.
Game's over. 12 to 5. Scores 45% to 18%. I'd say. Yeah, I mean, good trade and strat from LSO. I'll give him a shout out. Still had the most damage and one more kill than me, and we had equal Thrall, Gas, Godel plus packs. So I think he did a good job blowing up the dwarf. And overall, now the score is 3 games to 2. So one more win, and my team gets a spot to finals. If Paris' team can win, it's going to force a deciding game 7, and we will pick up there when we resume.